Welcome to the School of Love, the place where miracles are normal. Hello, and welcome to the School of Love, the place where we learn practical tools based on scientific research and our own experiences towards improving ourselves, living life to its fullest, and contributing to the best of our abilities to the world around us. I am Dr. Grajdian, and I am a professor of media studies and anthropology at Hiroshima University. In my free time, I am doing my best to guide you in building up a life of contentment, joy, and fulfillment while applying lessons learned in school to overcome the difficulties, challenges, and insecurities of the real world. Today's video is part of a new series on life at 45. As I have entered the second half of the 45th year of my life, there are specific thoughts and emotions I have been experiencing. While these are insights coming from myself as a woman, mother, and citizen, I deeply hope they might be helpful and useful for men as well. In today's video on Life at 45, I share my thoughts on what I wish I could tell my younger self in my early 30s, when I was both confused and very, very lonely, due to circumstances in my life which seemed increasingly chaotic and gradually fully spiraling out of control. It took approximately 15 years from 2006 until 2021 to sort out one initial mistake. In doing so, I am making peace with my past and allowing my inner younger, less experienced self to heal so that I can move forward in my life with serenity and in dignity. And now, first things first, that is two important disclaimers. The first disclaimer serves to strongly emphasize the fact that this YouTube channel, the School of Love, is not part of my educational and research activities at Hiroshima University. It is nonetheless part of my privilege, joy, and sense of duty to propagate and implement knowledge, information, as well as motivation and inspiration outside the limited framework of academic endeavors. Together, we can build up a better tomorrow for as many of us as possible. The second disclaimer relates to the fact that I'm a trained musician and musicologist, not a psychologist, therapist, or counselor. The ideas I am sharing in my videos reflect my deep-going preoccupation with life, my own life and other people's lives, and express the results of my experiences, research, and for better or for worse, my failures, as well as my recovery from those failures, recovery which is continuously ongoing. The ideas expressed in the videos on this channel, named the School of Love, cannot and may not and must not replace the consultation with specialists in whichever areas of your life you might have questions or you might struggle with. If you are new to the channel, at this moment I would like to ask you to please consider subscribing, sharing, liking, commenting. Thank you very, very much. This helps us not only with that mysterious algorithm which seems to dominate the YouTube galaxy, but also with contributing to the expansion of the community of humans doing their best to impact positively the world and those around them by discovering their authentic selves and living life wholeheartedly. Thanks again. So, what do I wish to tell my younger self in my early 30s? This is a very loaded question. So my early 30s were a period of time when usually people blossom, when people really start to have their own lives. And this is actually particularly true for my generation, those born in the 60s, 70s, because previous generations actually, they were already full in their grown-up lives. But my generation actually starts later because we have much longer education periods of time and we live much longer lives. And well, I finished my PhD towards I think 28 or 29, and Then my daughter was born, and then finally, with 30, 31, I got my first real job at University of Heidelberg. And I was struggling immensely, in spite of the fact that actually my life was working quite finely. So why was that happening? Various reasons. Now looking back, I know. But back then I was just struggling to make ends meet financially, struggling to find a place in the world professionally, struggling to understand how family dynamics works and why privately things seem not to work out the way other people seem to have their lives in order. A very difficult period of time in which really professionally I started to do mistakes, which was not the case before that. So remember, I have said this a couple of videos ago. In my teenage years, when I was a teenager, in my adolescence, I have discovered the novel Martin Eden by Jack London. And that gave me a foundation on how to set up goals, how to pursue those goals, and how to find some sort of harmony between the current life circumstances and the future life circumstances. So the goals I'm wanting to attain or to achieve. And that book had been proven a very important foundation. And between 1996 and 2005, the end of 2005, the beginning of 2006, things have been running very smoothly and very well for me. But then, at the beginning of 2006, I know things. I have made a mistake. And I also know what triggered that mistake. And starting with that point, my life started to go downhill and everything I was doing, my late 20s and then my early 30s, was a constant struggle to damage control. To essentially stop the bleeding, stop the accelerating collapse. It was obvious that I'm on the wrong pathway. I just didn't know what to do, and I didn't know how to stop it, because it was getting worse and worse. And what I wish I could tell her, that younger Maria who was struggling so badly and only making things worse, because this is what was happening. I wish I could tell her, stop doing things. Stop doing things so that you can stop failing. By whatever you do right now, it will only accelerate the decline and the collapse. Stop. Just stop. In your late teens, I didn't know I have choices. No, I knew I have choices, and I was making the bad choices. So what I wish I could tell her is, stop. Just stop. And then take a deep breath, while still not doing anything. Things will still keep on going for a while due to inertia. That things do not stop immediately. But eventually, that inertia will dissipate and you'll be able to stop fully. Just stop. Of course, I didn't know back then that stopping doing things was the solution. This is something which I wish I knew. No, I could tell and everyone who's finding him or herself in a bad spot in their lives. If what you're doing only worsens the situation, just stop doing things. And after a while, maybe you can start doing the opposite of what you feel like doing. But for the time being, just stopping is the first step. I was in great despair. and in great suffering. This is why I call my time at Heidelberg University my Vietnam War, my military service, because it was the most horrible year of my life up to that moment. And I simply didn't know what to do so that I can improve, at least not improve things, but stop them from getting worse. It was really a couple of years later that someone told me to stop doing things so that I can stop failing. So maybe it helps when you're struggling with your life, in whichever phase of your life you might be, stopping, and if you can, take a deep breath, going for a walk or more walks, and doing your best to sleep, to sit with yourself, is the beginning of the end of things going so badly. Just stop doing things, and it will be eventually okay. So I hope this helps. I hope you could gain some insights into how damage control works when things go poorly in one's life. So instead of doing more, actually doing less and stopping altogether is the solution. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for joining me. And I'm looking forward to welcoming you very soon again. Love and peace to you all.